At Shadow Spurs, we try and be calm and calculating, analyzing the data in a sea of emotion. But today may be the straw that broke the camel's back. Let's look at the data, because it's getting harder to ignore. 22 games in, and we have more losses than wins, 27 points, 14th in the table. But the most concerning stat isn't the points, it's the trend. Earlier this season, we were grinding out results because players like Kudus and Richarlison were clinical. We were overperforming our expected goals. Now, that luck has dried up. We're averaging just 1.4 goals per game, and our home record is becoming a genuine liability. There is no clear, visible path forward with Frank. Nice guy, without doubt, but he appears to be out of his depth, and I am being polite. These group of players may not be perfect, but they are better than the results. People keep asking, why did this work at Brentford but not here? At Brentford, Thomas Frank was the king of punching up. When you're the underdog, a disciplined mid-block and a 3-5-2 is a tactical masterclass. But at Spurs, the psychological weight is different. Fans don't want to see us ceding 60% possession to West Ham. At Brentford, Frank had a recruitment machine designed specifically for his marginal gains philosophy. At Tottenham, he's trying to fit chaos ball players into a rigid, reactive structure. It's clunky, it's defensive, and today it was punished. If you look back at his time in Denmark with Brøndby, Frank was a builder. He took a club in financial ruin and stabilized them. But there's a massive difference. At Brøndby, he was sheltered from this level of global scrutiny. In North London, the board doesn't have the patience for a 3-year build if the results are trending toward the bottom half of the table. We've seen how quickly the fuse burns here. Just ask Mourinho or Conte. If you're going to be a pragmatist, you have to get the results. Without them, you're just a manager playing boring football and losing. You can't talk about Thomas Frank without talking about the set-piece room. This is the one area where Spurs have statistically improved. Frank treats a corner like a scripted play. He floods the 6-yard box with 6 or 7 players, using blockers, usually the more physical defenders, to legally impede the keeper or the primary zonal markers. Early in the season, this won us games, but as the season has progressed, teams have scouted the routines. When the set-piece goals dried up, the lack of creativity in open play was exposed. We are now a team that relies on marginal gains in a sport that often requires individual magic. The data doesn't lie. Half of Spurs games this season have seen under 2.5 goals. That is a deliberate tactical choice by Frank to prioritize stability. But at a club like Tottenham, stability without success is just boring and scared. Frank's system at Brentford worked because he was punching up every point was a bonus. At Spurs, when you prioritize a low-risk mid-block against West Ham or Bournemouth and still lose, the tactical pragmatism starts to look like tactical fear. Is the system failing the club, or is the club's DNA simply rejecting the system? One thing is for sure, we can no longer carry on like this, and sadly that buck rests with Frank.